Hello, welcome to the show. I'm Jacquelene. You're on Soul Star Radio. We're back at the South Yarra location that I work from in Toorak Road. So rather nice being here. Now, I'm joined today by the wonderful, very talented Ros Tilley. Now, she's an author and illustrator, and I'm going to call her a spiritual expert. There's a lot of things going on here. Certainly working with geomancy, geopathic express and essences, as well as this wonderful spiritual art and just readings as well. So welcome to the show there, Ros.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
It's really good to have you joining us. Now, you've brought out a brand new deck that I've got here, and it's actually called White Elemental Oracle. I'm just going to put that up here. There we go. Whoa, there we go. Very strong image on the front cover there.
That is spondylus. All made from crystals. All the energy is channeled from the crystal, and then the image is drawn, and then I go to do the essences, and they're all there. Great for kinesiologists, healers in general, or readers. They're really powerful. The companion product works with your shadow side. Not a lot of people are ready to work with their shadow side, but Spirit knew what it was doing when I was kicked in the backside to make it.
I know that feeling, although not the feeling of actually crowning a deck yet, but certainly the feeling of dealing with both. So, because what we've got here is we've got literally the shadow and we've got the light. And so it's really quite an interesting dynamic of energy there, because you sort of really do feel the differences in the two. And people go on all the time about, I'm a light worker, namaste, away. And, it's like, oh, my God, so there's actually a real big need to deal with the shadow side. And so you've got that in that deck there. And you've also got another deck called Sacred 8 Tarot. Did you want to tell us a little bit about that at all?
So how the Sacred 8 Tarot came about was I worked on the Phoenix Standard Mind, Body, Spirit Festival, and there was not a deck around that gave proper instructions, but also a lot of the young ones, when I say young ones, into their 20s, they want to work with tarot, but they have no idea how it works. So this way, they can play with the channeled readings while they learn the tarot. So, and then, of course, the image on the front wasn't revealed to me until after it had been printed, but it's another layout that I use. This has also got the Kabbalah in it, and the Kabbalah is brilliant for healing. I've now gone on to do healing silks, and they are amazing.
Beautiful. Now, you're going to do a drawing today, and we've got the easel in the background. You can just see some paper there. Did you want to start with that, or
yes,
tell us, or you can talk as we go along?
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to channel an image up there. I have no idea what's coming through. It will be what Spirit wants on paper. It could be an image to go into the children's deck, which started last Saturday. Yeah. Thank you, Spirit. So I will start. I will talk as I'm going through if I get any messages for anybody watching.
Anyone watching it. And it can even be a message. You may find that what's happening here with Ros is there's a message or an image that has to do with the times we're in as well. So there can sort of be themes going on astrologically, energetically, but Ros will tell you more about that. And I'm just going to show you also, there's another deck here called Tree of Life. So this is a Tree of Life oracle. So it's quite a bit of an active career you've had there with your work there, Ros.
This started years ago when I learned to do this channeled artwork, and I asked what was I doing, and Spirit said, you're doing a tarot deck. And I said, no, there's 78 cards in a tarot deck. I'm not. I laughed when I did the tarot because it just made me giggle that they got their own way eventually.
Yes.
But this is my journey. When I teach this, you're learning the stories that go with these images.
Beautiful.
So you start off, and I teach this, and I love teaching it, with a rust-shaped football. And you can either blend it or leave it. I tend to blend it because I'm a control freak. So I can feel energy washing in. I can feel it coming from above the head. So for those of you watching, you may feel this actually coming in over your head. Be open to receiving it. There's also a lot of love coming in with this. I can feel it. I've just gone goosey. So the aqua for me is a light form of protection. So you can see that's coming in all over the top. Just give it a bit of a neck. While I'm doing this, it's coming through, they're talking to me, do this, do that, and I just listen. At this stage, it's female, but that can change. So when I look at this, it's very serene with no eyes on. If I were to leave the eyes closed like that, it would be about going internally,
Yeah.
But she wants eyes on. So it's a little bit like having somebody doing in my head.
Mm.
So there's another layer of something coming in over her head.
And it's really about trusting where the pastel needs to go, which colour where, and not so much the technicality as we're going into, isn't it?
Yes.
You're having to listen to that. And one of the things I found with students when I was teaching them years ago with intuitive art is if they started to try to intellectualise, which is not what you're doing, but, oh, no, it has to be this way, oh, their eye shouldn't look like that, that's not technically correct. It gets in the way of the message. And the message is really about the symbolism, rather than exactly how just so something should look.
I used to worry about it, and in this first deck, I had an issue around the nose, and I said, what is it with your nose? And he looked back at me and said, I've got a nose ring, don't judge.
Yeah.
And at that stage, I didn't like tattoos and I didn't like any form of piercing. I've got over it.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Exactly.
Because if you don't, they kick your butt.
Yep. However, we know that one. I used to find my students would actually pick up the pastel, and if they were picking up the wrong pastel and not listening, and they were instead judging what that should be, sometimes the pastels would actually crumble in their hands. So you find that yourself with people?
And you drop them.
Yeah.
So the yellow for me is creativity, and that's speaking of third eye creativity. And I'm just connecting with her to see what she wants now. There's something coming in here. It's green. Is it green or is it aqua green? That's this green, which is, I don't know. So this is swirling energy. So you could look at that and say, is this water? So you could look at it and say maybe there are 8 swirls on that. 8 for me is abundance. I am an 8, so I resonate with 8. She's just about finished. Yes, she's complete there. I've just got to finish her eyes and play with her lips. Again, if I were to be critical, I wouldn't be able to leave them. It's not my mouth, it's hers. Yep. So we leave it alone. So now this is what I call the focal point where, yes, we've got a drawing here, but if you watch the eyes, you'll actually see her emerge. And now she's just jumped out. And these eyes will follow you around the room. Okay. She is now complete.
Beautiful. So tell us about this energy and what you've brought there.
Okay, let's see what she's going to tell me. So when I look at this, I see a sadness. I see a deep soul hurt. There's obviously something going on a heart level. So it's about protecting. If anybody out there is thinking, oh, I've just been hurt in the heart, please pull that in over the front of you and know that as you go internally, you can heal.
Yeah.
Yellow over the third eye is the creative colour for me. So, again, go and do something creative for yourself. Not for anybody else. Take yourself out. If you're a mum at home and you've got kids, find that time for yourself, whether it be to go and sit at the park, sit and look at the trees. Find that time. Again, now when I look at that top, it could be the top of palm trees.
It can even be mountains.
Yes.
And I can actually see a face in the profile over here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you can sort of see that kind of, movement. There's a lot of movement in the picture.
So, yes, you could look at even the colour of that right around the aqua as emotion.
And washing things.
Water.
Yep.
And that creative is all over the face. So from dealing with your spirit and creativeness, it'll take you to another level. Do your crying and get over it.
Yeah.
Pull your beautiful pink in over your head, pull your own self-love in and shuffle through everything.
And it's interesting because as you were drawing, I was actually pulling out cards. So the card that I had that first came up was actually this one here, and that's from your Tree of Life Oracle deck.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us about that card, Paul?
Okay, so when I drew this card, I wasn't really sure about what it was talking about, but as I've got to work with them, this pink over here, this swirling energy here, can be a birth. If anybody's come to me for a reading and wants to know when their baby's coming, it's coming. The yellow is a comet, so creatively comet yourself forward. There is also gold in there, so you've got that golden highlight, that beautiful spirit bringing in the best for you. So, yeah.
It's interesting because it's literally pulling these cards as you're drawing. So I've got that from that deck. And then over from the Sacred 8 Tarot, and before you even said about the 8, this was the card that was coming out, and it's actually the Strength card from that deck. Beautiful. As we've been saying, Roz and even with the cards I've been pulling, but Roz has been doing a reading just generally for out there who needs it at the moment and how that comes across. So it can even be of the energy at the moment that we're in, which we can all be experiencing different layers and different levels of. So there's that 8, the Strength card. Do you want to tell us about that particular image and how that relates in your deck, in that particular deck?
So the Strength here, to me, they're all crossing over. It's another layer of it. If you've got people out there that are doing brilliantly, know that it's going to improve. We don't just want to talk doom and gloom. But the other side of it, again, if you're having a rough time, and I think we're still in Leo now.
Yeah, we are.
So you've got that, the main and the dramatics that go with it, but the strength is there. So pull again on that inner strength. I believe the planets out there at the moment are really doing harsh things, and normally I don't feel it, but I feel like I've been bashed.
Yeah.
But get up every morning and keep pushing through, because you're just being tested planetarily. So your 8 is abundance. Know that you've got to, if this has come out today, then there's got to be a reason for it. The strength of the lion. Now, if any of you are into vibrational essences, I actually have made white lion essence. And I was asked in Japan, I teach in Japan, I was asked, could I get white lion? And, of course, out of my mouth comes yes. And I go, oh, can I? Well, I must be able to. Spirit said yes. So I manifested a wedding in Mansfield. There is a Mansfield Zoo. that has white lions. So I now have white lion essence.
And so that's Mansfield in Australia, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, there you go. So out of all the places we could end up, there was a white line. So how do you make an essence? For those who are like, what are you talking about essences? How do we make essences?
Okay, so normally full moon, sometimes new moon. I've only ever made one in the sun, and that was because there was dove there. So when, it's funny you've got the Japanese one there.
Came out.
What I do is I'll have a clear glass, just a glass of Pyrex, clear glass. I put spring water so it touches the dish, and I pop the dish in to the glass.
Yep.
Then I put the item in here. Then I put a lid on it, and that keeps it clean because our health regulations here are over the top, and I respect that.
Yep.
And I put it out in the full moon. I make sure that it's out in the height of the full moon. If it's at midnight, I'll put it out 2 days in a row, 2 nights in a row, I should say. Then I bring it in and I tip 50 mils of that into a 100 ml bottle, and I add 50 mils of brandy.
Yep.
The rest of the water that's in the glass dish, I gift back to the earth because Mother Earth has gifted it to me. And then that goes into a remedy, into a stock bottle, and then from stock bottle to remedy. I use these essences on the land. The white and black oracle all have an essence for every card. So, yes.
So about this card, because that's the other one we pulled out, or rather Jacquelene pulled out while you were drawing, pulled out one of your cards while you were drawing. So tell us about this particular card, which I'm trying to angle correctly. There we go.
So this is a Japanese crystal that's come off, and I would have to look at the book to remember what island, but it's an island that is very sacred off Japan, and they have beautiful crystals that are actually energized in the water on the full moon. They also collect salt, I'm pretty sure, from this island as well on the full moon. So this I didn't realise until I'd finished it and it's printed, and I looked at it and I thought, oh my, that is very much like Japanese art. So it's got that playful energy of it, but it's a shifter and shake of that card.
Absolutely. So what we might do as well is, if we can, we'll pick one out of the shadow deck as well, because we're certainly going through a lot of that at the moment.
So also I'll tell you, these have both got the same top card, so they've both got that on the top, and you can interact the decks or you can overlay them, so you've got a double reading, so to speak.
And I've gone here. Let's see where we are. Okay, so you want to pick out 3. So the one I've picked as singular, rhodochrosite, and of course we've been talking about healing the heart, and of course rhodochrosite is pink.
Yes.
We've got the one on the other side, because apparently this is a 3-deck spread, 3 spread, anyway, that thing, is Amazonite. And then the other one is, of course, black tourmaline. And, of course, in a shadow deck, I picked this trifecta there. So do you want to tell people who don't understand those about that? And I'm going to do it that way. There we go.
Okay, so which way do you want me to start?
Maybe the first one.
Okay, so this one is interesting. This is the only drawing that I had done, and it's not on black paper, but it needed to go in. So this one speaks of hearing. So this is the left side, your spiritual side. There's a new sort of healing coming in for you. You've got this almost a temple sitting over the top. So basically hearing that this beautiful bright orange colour to lift your energy. Rhodochrosite is definitely about love. Now this is what the crystal looks like. They all did their own thing as I drew them. So if you look here, she's got some of her head missing. That's your masculine side. So there'll be a little bit there that you need to adjust, you need to get stronger. That can be that your masculine is weak, or it means that you need to be stronger around the masculine. If you are a male watching this, exactly the same thing. You might need to be stronger around men.
Yep.
You might be a soft, gentle person, so you need to find that deeper, stronger part of you. The black tourmaline, this was interesting, and I find it fascinating. I've had this crystal for years, and I bought it for somebody else, and she decided she didn't want it. Spirit decided I needed it in this deck. So this is about yay big, and when you can see it, there's lines on it, but it's really angelic. So it's a protector. If you're having difficulty sleeping and you know there's somebody in the bedroom at night or somebody around you, put that under your pillow, put it under the bed. And that's the beauty with these cards. They will work for you overnight. Has that explained it for you?
That has, And this one here we've got, which one was that one? That was Amazonite, yeah. So when we're dealing with those in the shadow perspective, it's sort of taking you into, all right, so what's missing or what are you not dealing with, rather than being fluffy like decks that say, hey, you're really good, it's great, everything's fine. No, here's what to work on. Let's do some real stuff here. So it's really quite powerful in that image. And also, when we're looking at the image on this side, do you want to tell us about what inspired that?
That is really interesting. Now, that drawing had been done for probably 10 years. So it started off under here was white. And what I wanted to do was play with the layers. So I sprayed in between and did it again. I had what I thought were 3 faces. This turned out just to be a bun on the top. And then when you look into this is your fire. This is the earth, the rocks. You've got your sky and you've got your water. There's a waterfall here. And the more you look into that, the deeper it takes you. So I was doing a bit of a photo shoot for Japan, and I just went in. I didn't want to put any of these images up because they weren't printed. So I went into the healing room, pulled this off the wall and been there for years, popped it on the easel and took one look and went, oh, that's the upside of the deck. So then when I knew Spirit had told me there was a white deck to come, I knew that it had to have this top on it. So that is now, those 2 are now being used with my moon cycles. So I'm doing essences to let go with the full moon and to bring in with the new moon. So that's another one of my later, about a month ago things.
It's always interesting that, like, as we get older, we look at how we can, all right, I've only got this much time left. I've got to quickly get onto this. And so there's a real sort of sense of drive and purpose in the work you're doing now.
Absolutely.
Sort of running to a timeline now.
Yes.
And I think the thing is that when we're on purpose and on track, that can sort of feel that sense of urgency. So with very young people who sort of want to do it all now, I sort of urge that patience because there's still a lot to learn. But once you get up in age and get a little bit older, it's like, got to get onto it now. So the focus really comes in. So it's been beautiful having you join me today and share your wonderful decks and art. Is there anything you wanted to say as a final summation of the energy at the moment for people?
Hang in there. Hold tight. I feel teary as I say that. Because I can feel.
I know.
There are quite a few of you out there struggling. Stay strong.
That's it. Beautiful. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back same time next week. In the meantime, we're going to send you a lot of love and healing and light throughout the day. This has been Soul Star Radio. Keep with us on A1R Radio for more psychic TV this afternoon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.